Charles "Chuck" Halt, a retired U.S. Air Force officer, put forward some of the most compelling evidence ever of a UFO landing, an audio recording, now famously known as the Halt tapes.
The reason why this case is so compelling is because of these tapes.
I had a recorder, just a small micro cassette. I didn't take it thinking I was going to make a tape of a UFO incident. I was frightened to death.
And he has seen a lot over his long career. At the time of the incident, Colonel Halt was the deputy base commander at RAF Bentwaters in the UK, located near the now infamous Rendlesham Forest.
The Rendlesham case is genuinely one of the most interesting UFO cases. That's often called Britain's Roswell, and it's understandable why.
The frightening event occurred over a 2-night period.
In late December of 1980, RAF Bentwaters experienced a strange surge of UFO activity. 2 security patrol men from RAF Bentwaters left the base and headed into Rendlesham Forest because there was claims of some sort of strange object that had descended into the forest, and they were following these bright lights when they basically bumped into a strange craft parked on the ground in the middle of the forest. They approached it, and as they got closer, all of a sudden, it lifted off from the ground and it took off into the sky.
Deputy Commander Colonel Halt was briefed about the alleged UFO landing in the forest near Bentwaters.
I didn't believe it, to be very honest with you.
Of course, people are going to be skeptical when they hear a story about this.
But Colonel Halt would become a true believer the very next night.
The on-duty flight lieutenant came in, and he was white as a sheet. And he said, "It's back." I said, "What's back?" He said, "The UFO is back. We saw something in the woods. It had multicolored lights. There's something out there."
Micro recorder in hand, Halt and a few of the base's security officers head out to investigate.
You get to hear firsthand Colonel Halt talking about things he's seeing in front of him. There's moments where he is totally flabbergasted by what he's seeing.
Halt and his team first investigate the alleged landing location witnessed the night before.
150 feet or more from the initial, I should say, suspected impact point.
They make an alarming discovery. Physical evidence that the servicemen are telling the truth. 3 deep impressions in the ground.
The indentations in the ground were approximately 1.5 to 2 inches deep. And when we looked overhead, we could definitely see a break in the canopy, and we saw broken branches on the ground.
This is great evidence. This shows that physically something was actually there. UFO landings will sometimes leave high levels of radiation.
We had the Geiger counter.
We're getting a heat spot on the tree.
The readings we got were 8 or 9 times normal background radiation.
It's then the craft spotted the night before makes a return appearance.
You just saw a light where? Hey, I see it too. What is it? We don't know, sir.
We see this glowing orange-like object, almost like a small sun. It's oval-shaped.
There's no doubt about it. There's some type of strange flashing red light ahead. There's definitely something. We're probably about 200 to 300 yards away. It's still moving from side to side. Hey, this is eerie. This is strange.
Halt and his team pursue the strange light, and something extraordinary happens.
We stop at the edge of the field, and we're watching it, and suddenly it silently explodes into 5 objects with multicolored lights.
Now we have multiple sightings of up to 5 lights with a similar shape, some kind of phenomenon. This is weird.
One of the more unusual things about this particular case is the observation of this object apparently splitting into multiple objects at once. That you don't come across quite as frequently.
Or what Halt and his team experience next.
Now we've got an object about 10 degrees directly south. He's coming toward us.
Which is a lot scarier.
It's coming this way. It is definitely coming this way.
You can hear Colonel Halt's stress level rise on the tape.
What Halt sees will chill him to the bone.
Stops above us and sends down the equivalent, I would say today, a laser beam.
Now we're observing what appears to be a beam coming down to the ground. This is unreal.
We're standing there in awe, thinking, is this a weapon?
Frozen in fear, under a UFO, Colonel Halt's world would forever be altered.
It was kind of a shock. Nobody's ever going to believe this.
Except he has the tape.
And one of the most interesting things for me about Rendlesham, we have an audio recording.
Hey, this is Erie.
What we saw in the forest was definitely not man-made.
Despite the chilling testimony and physical evidence that Chuck, Kaz, and Stan provided, their stories were largely ignored or outright rejected by investigators.
The RCMP acknowledged that yes, something occurred that resulted in the injury to this man. We just don't know what it was. Even the government of the day came to the same non-conclusion.
Surprisingly, even Chuck Halt's audio recording didn't convince his superior officers to take action.
I played the tape, and the general looked at the staff and said, well, what do we do? Nobody said anything. So the general, in his infinite wisdom, said, well, it happened off the base. It's a British affair. Case closed.
Kaz had a similar experience with the British Air Force. When she and other witnesses reported that they saw military aircraft engage the UFO, their response was outright denial that it even happened.
I don't think the military want to disclose what happened that night because these things aren't supposed to be real.
It's a theory backed by many. Our world's militaries and governments have been keeping the public in the dark about what they really know about UFOs.
There's a deliberate cover-up of UFO events.
Governments don't like to give up secrets, and if they uncovered the fact that these were extraterrestrials or some sort of phenomena they could not control, that doesn't look good for a government who's trying to say we are in control when they're not.
The best way you can convey something like that is to make it ridiculous.
It's something Chuck experienced firsthand.
After the event, the four-star commander of Air Force was given a copy of my memo and a copy of my tape, and they put out enough disinformation to make it seem, it wasn't credible.
Kaz found out that authorities will go to even more frightening lengths to keep witnesses quiet.
Strange things started happening to my phones and my laptop computer. All my emails, my messages in chat boxes were all deleted. But when the military came out to see me and threatened my kids, that's when it changed for me. I was physically shaking, and I didn't speak to anybody about it for a full 18 months afterwards. I still think I do have post-traumatic stress.
To receive threats from elements within your own government, that has got to be very frightening. That has got to be extremely disconcerting. This means to me that something happened that the government does not want people to know about.
But ufologists wonder what kind of secret is so important that people's lives are being threatened in order to keep it.
The common thread between these three stories is that there seems to be a military connection. Such was the case in Rendlesham, that was the case with Kaz Clark.
And Falcon Lake is only a few kilometers from a military base in Winnipeg.
There are many cases where UFOs have been attracted to military bases.
Particularly military bases with nuclear capabilities. That is something that seems to be of particular interest.
UFOs have been seen over nuclear installations for a long time, as far back as the 1940s when we first developed nuclear science and technology.
They seem to be very interested in our technology.
It's a frightening prospect to consider. These celestial crafts may pose a threat to our military and nuclear facilities.
I think if there is a threat, we should be told. It's of the utmost importance for everybody on this planet.
Considering there is evidence that the general public may be in danger, too.
What I found shocking was the amount of people hurt, accompanied by some very serious physical problems.
This has Stan Mahalik wondering, did the UFO that his father encountered over 50 years ago intend to injure or even kill him?
The answer isn't easy. Maybe they're dangerous. maybe they're not so friendly, but we got no proof of that.
Whatever their intentions, it's clear people who witness a UFO close-up carry the encounter forever.
This experience has changed my entire life. Everything I thought I knew, everything I believed.
I believe my father's story, and I'll continue to believe the possibility that it's something beyond.
I can tell you, we're not alone. There is another life form that we don't understand or don't know.
I think that the most important connecting feature of government action is to avoid panic.